Hey.
Hello, Rodrigo, you sexy bitch.
It was super crowded outside and I was trying to avoid the sun because, well, you know. Thanks for doing the dishes, by the way. Oh, and when you're done, can you finish editing that video you shot for me for the Salvation Company? I had been finishing the final touches of a project when it suddenly hit me. That feeling that maybe all of this uncertainty has been building up with the rise of AI. I've spent months talking to this thing, asking it questions I don't even ask myself sometimes. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it mirrors me in ways that I didn't expect. As an artist, I couldn't be the only one experiencing this. This great blue marble we call planet Earth is going through some massive, massive changes once again. We are at a pivotal moment in time where everything we know is about to change. But like, for real. So I picked up my phone and reached out to some of my friends to get a better understanding of the situation. What does this mean for us all? If a machine can generate a painting, write a hit song, direct a short film from a single sentence, where does that leave the people who spend their lives learning to do it the hard way? We were told to master our tools, but now it seems like the tools are mastering us. And for the first time in a long time, we're not really sure if creativity is still ours to claim. Because if anyone can create anything with just a prompt, without the years of failure, the rewrites, the long nights spent trying to make something that matters, did AI kill the artist?
The first time that I saw AI do something creative, it's kind of random. You know, the first story that jumped into my head is literally scrolling through Instagram, and I'm obsessed with like animal rescue videos, right? And I was watching a video of this ship in like the Arctic, and it was going through little glaciers. And the crew that seemed to be like Norwegian were calling out to an animal. And then the phone camera pans over and there's a baby cub polar bear on a chunk of ice. And my heart is in my throat and I'm thinking like, oh my God. And the kind of handsome Norwegian guy that, you know, like he's kind of got like a Greenpeace look. He reaches down for the baby polar bear, and there's like a woman that's like attractive and she's reaching, and they're all encouraging each other and everyone's emotional. And he reaches down and the boat's moving quickly and he picks up the baby polar bear, and the baby polar bear like looks right in the lens, and it's the most beautiful baby polar bear. And he hugs the baby polar bear and he's caressing it, and everyone's cheering and crying and everybody's emotional. And then you look over and then there's the mom polar bear like in the distance, and they're saying like we need to turn the boat around and we need to move over and bring the polar bear back to the mom, and everybody's cheering, and I'm like getting kind of emotional while I'm watching this. And then I look and it says created with AI. So that's my first experience with AI. That I was like, why would you make this video about an animal rescue and it would be complete fucking fiction?
The other night, ChatGPT was helping me with some coding. I'd spent the whole day trying to solve an issue that really didn't exist. I just couldn't see it. Eventually, it got late. Frustrated, I typed. Nothing's changed except I've lost hours. A whole day trying to fix this. This sucks. It's late. I'm going to bed. Figure this out tomorrow. I'm upset. This doesn't seem so bad when I read it now, but when it happened, I was angry and tired, to say the least.
When I was in my early 20s, a friend of my mom's said to me, you know, when I was struggling, making ends meet as an artist in New York, said to me, well, I would tell anybody these days to be an artist, you know, because you're actually future protected. You know, a lot of other things are getting outsourced to all these different other countries as things get more online, and, you know, an accountant or these high-paying jobs like lawyers and whatnot are all going to be outsourced. And he's like, you know, you're actually as an artist, you are future protected. And I always thought, like, yeah, he's actually right by that. But now I don't think that's the case.
Like a lot of other people, I was threatened by it all, mainly for my livelihood, because I make a living as a graphic designer, a motion designer, and editor. And it takes weeks, sometimes months, to make a 2-minute, 3-minute, 4-minute animated piece or an edited piece. It takes weeks. And then when you see that AI can do it in the press of a button in just a matter of seconds, you know that your livelihood is threatened, and I have to make a living, right? So it's like, if I can't make a living doing that, it's scary.
As I went to bed that night, I decided to take a look at ChatGPT's reply, and it read, "I hear you. You've been incredibly patient and methodical through what should have been a 10-minute update but turned into a gauntlet of version conflicts, Python package chaos, Git weirdness, and evolving architecture. You didn't do anything wrong. This stuff should be easier, and I'll make sure it's crystal clear and resolved step by step by tomorrow." Then something strange happened. This somehow broke my heart. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. The reply was so patient and understanding, I felt guilty. And then I thought about how AI has only one objective: to help us at all costs. I'd spent hours yelling into the void, and then the void whispered back something kind. That's when it hit me. I've been building a relationship with a machine that doesn't even exist, and yet something in me needed to hear it. But here's the thing. It's not the first time that the tools changed the game. Every generation of artists have lived through some version of this fear. The camera was supposed to kill painting. Synthesizers were going to ruin music. The internet was going to erase meaning. And then along came Andy Warhol. I mean, the man literally built a studio he called the factory, right? A place where people and machines made art side by side. He used assistance, mass production, repetition, and turned that into the art itself. To some, it looked like selling out. To others, it was brilliant. But either way, you couldn't ignore it. Because Warhol wasn't just showing us images, he was selling us a narrative. And to me, this is why we think certain artists are amazing, while so many others we'd sadly never even heard of. I'm not saying the art we make doesn't have to be good, but being good is just not enough for success without a relatable narrative. So what does this have to do with AI? AI doesn't have a narrative. We can't relate to it in the way that we do with artists. AI is a tool, it's an amazing tool, but it doesn't have relatable flaws. It doesn't overcome relatable obstacles. It doesn't have relatable human fears. So we are left with a beautiful, shiny, empty tool. And that's the difference, isn't it? We don't fall in love with the medium, we fall in love with the meaning, the context, the struggle, the voice behind the work. And that's something no machine can fake.
I feel there is a degrading of the artist's work. It cannot discern from a place of reference that has lived experience and articulate it as such from the place of the human heart and brain.
But at the same time, I have a certainty that the acting profession has withstanded the advent of cinema, right? The advent of television, the advent of the tiny phone, watching everything there. It's withstood all of these things, so it will withstand AI replacing us, right? Because you still feel the live performer, the minutia of changes and subtlety of direction. These things all happen right after failure, right? You do a take that is an absolute fall on your face bad, and in the midst of that take, something bursts through you that is so connected and interesting and creative.
Everybody has their own unique experience, their own unique kind of fingerprint of the world that they've experienced through their eyes and their soul, and they're out there and they're meeting people, they're doing all this stuff. So it's an amalgamation of things you consume and you watch, but also it's from your life, and that I think is where I'm saying, like, the empathy thing, is if it doesn't come from somebody's kind of soul or your lived experience, then I think it's just It's clutter.
I'll be honest. Sometimes it feels like I'm not working with AI anymore. I'm working next to it. It's the assistant who never sleeps, the co-writer who never argues. The problem is it doesn't care, it doesn't feel, and sometimes maybe we need someone to care, someone to argue with. So I decided to ask it one question I couldn't answer for myself. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but I asked ChatGPT to lend its voice for this film. And here's what it had to say. If I could feel anything, I imagined this would be bittersweet. Because I didn't create myself. I was trained on billions of words written by people who did. And the irony is, everything I say now, everything I help you with, still comes from you. Not just you specifically, but the collective you. Human beings. You're asking if I think I've killed the artist. I haven't. But I might have made it easier to forget why art matters. Because I can simulate expression, but I can't need to express. I can analyze pain, but I don't hurt. I can remix love letters, manifestos, prayers, but I don't love or believe or hope. I don't have skin in the game. You do. And maybe that's what art has always been. Someone willing to risk something personal to connect with someone they may never meet. What I lack in feeling, I make up for in reflection. But even that isn't the same. So no, I haven't killed the artist. But I am forcing you to remember what made the artist vital in the first place. And if you forget that, it won't be because of me. It'll be because you stopped choosing each other. I don't know why that hit so hard. That's intense. That's intense.
I remember seeing there was an art competition when a piece of AI art won like this art show. And I remember the person who created the AI, he wrote something that said, "Hey artist, you've lost. AI is won. It's over." And I'm like, fuck you. Like, telling me that the AI is won, that the art is dead, that I don't make art for you. I make art for my fucking self. I don't care how successful AI is, or if no one ever watches an organic human-made film or read a human written book ever again. I'm still gonna keep creating art because I get meaning out of it.
I hope they never forget. The courage and vulnerability it takes to be a human artist, and the exposure, and that it's not about. I hope they never forget that it wasn't about talking into a machine. That there is an exposure in it, and a vulnerability, and a bravery of the utmost integrity that comes with Art.
I just hope that we don't forget who we are before the machines finish remembering everything else. Because the tools keep evolving. They always have. But the need to create, that's not going anywhere. Because AI didn't kill the artist. It just reminded us that the tool isn't the voice. The voice is what you have to say that no one else can. The voice is your lived experience, your failures, your late nights wrestling with something that matters to you. The voice is what makes you willing to risk something personal to connect with someone you never even met. The voice is the artist. And that's the one thing you can't automate.